What's going on, people? Today, I'm going to be talking about smartphones. There's one over there, too! And the whole reason behind this video is because I bought a Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. Yeah! But first, a little backstory. This was my first smartphone. The AT&T Samsung Galaxy S2! And yes, I actually still use this phone today, like in 2019. I'm actually going to retire it pretty soon because it's old, slow, and it's running Android 4.1 Jelly Bean. Now, it is rooted because the bootloader is unlocked. This is before AT&T started being buttholes and locking bootloaders on all the phones. So this is an unlocked bootloader phone. I can boot ROMs, a custom recovery if I wanted to, whatnot. Galaxy S2. So after the S2 started acting up, I decided to get an S3. And I do not use this phone in 2019 other than for Wi-Fi purposes. I still have a bunch of shit on it because I used this phone for a while, like years. It's running Android KitKat, and it actually, the reason I switched from this phone is because something happened to it to where it wouldn't boot up into Android. It would just boot into recovery mode and download mode. So I was like, okay, well, crap. So I used Odin to go back to stock, and then when that happened, everything got erased. So when everything was erased, I was like, screw it. Let me just go ahead and switch to the S4 that I bought a few years ago. And this was my main phone for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months or something. Maybe a little longer. And it's great and all. It's also rooted. It has the Loki exploit on it. So I can boot custom ROMs and custom recovery. I do have a custom ROM and a custom recovery on here. I know this does look like TouchWiz, and it is TouchWiz because it's a TouchWiz custom ROM. So my S4 has a locked bootloader. This is AT&T. These are all AT&T except for the phone that I'm filming on. It's a Verizon S4, and it was given to me by somebody. Locked bootloader, but uses Loki to bypass the lock. Unlocked bootloader, but if you try to install a custom kernel or recovery, it'll trip your Knox warranty. I accidentally tripped mine the other day. It was at 0 for years, and then the other day I booted a custom TouchWiz ROM, and I thought that would be okay, but it injected a custom kernel, which triggered my warranty, which doesn't really matter because this thing is like an S3. It came out in like 2012 or 13. It's like hella old, so it's out of warranty anyway. And that brings us to the Galaxy S10 Plus. I got this last week because my S4 here, though I love the ROM, it would freeze up. Like, it would just totally lock up, like Windows XP style. When I would like be installing an app from the Google Play Store, or sending a text message sometimes, or it just started randomly just freezing up, and I'd have to reboot it. And then I wasn't getting phone calls. People would call me, it would ring and ring and ring on their end, but nothing would show up on my phone on my end. And all of a sudden I would have a voicemail. The signal kind of sucked. So yeah, I switched to the Galaxy S10. I was kind of reluctant to get this phone because, it's fucking huge. Look how big it is compared to my old phone. I know they have the cases on, but, still, you can kind of see it, how big it is. I don't really like how big it is. I probably should have gone with the Galaxy S instead of the S Plus. But that's okay because I got a Galaxy S on order. Alright, this bad boy rocks 8 gigs of RAM, and it has 2 cameras up front. I don't know if you can see it because I have wallpaper that covers it up. 2 cameras in front, 3 cameras on back. 6.4 inch screen, whereas the Galaxy S has a 6.1 inch screen. This has a 4100 milliamp battery, or however you say it. The S10 has a 34. The only difference between this phone and the S10 is the second camera up here, a little bit larger. The S10 is 6.1. This is 6.4. A little bit larger screen, and the battery. That's it. Other than that, it's the exact same fucking phone. Now, I love this phone. However, there are a few things I don't like. Like when you go to your recents, you have to swipe up now like a fucking iPhone to get rid of them. You can't swipe left, and you can't hit the little X like you could on this phone. Show you real quick. See, like, well, let's see, flashlight, yeah. So, wait for got the flashlight app on. Hit the recents. I can just hit this little X right here, or I can swipe left or right. So yeah. I don't like that. That's just a personal thing. Another thing I don't like is that there's no notification light. So if you get a text message, you either have to pick up your phone if it's on silent, just happen to see it, or you have to leave your phone on loud. I don't like that. They could have just used the camera here, or put a little dot like right there in between the cameras or something, or on the side of the camera. Now I know there's apps that are supposed to do it. They give you like a little like ring around the camera here, but I can't figure out how to get it to work. There's one made by Chainfire called Holy Light. I couldn't get it to work. There might be some others, but yeah, I just couldn't get Holy Light to work. I mean, this thing is just freaking massive. I mean, look at it in my hand here. I mean, it's like huge. Freaking huge, Mr. Bigglesworth. Another thing that I really don't like about it is that the settings. There's like settings for fucking settings. I mean, look at all this. It's fucking crazy. It's like you go in here, there's more options. Hey, look at this. More fucking options. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? It's like, could we just like, have a phone without so many options by Samsung? I mean, the options are great and everything. I'm sure, like, if you make use of them, it's great. But it's like half of this shit, it's like, I turn some of it off, I turn some of it on, that's it. The rest is just like sitting there. It's just like, oh, well, time to have like 6,000 options. My biggest pet peeve is there's no fucking mobile data tab. None at all. See, we've got Wi-Fi. There's Wi-Fi, but there's no freaking data tab. And this is AT&T. I don't know about T-Mobile, Verizon, or Sprint. They might have a data tab, but I don't have a fucking data tab, and it's annoying because I had one on this phone. Granted, it's running a custom ROM, so the guy probably added it on, but it's there. On here, not so much. The closest thing that you have is this little thing right here, this little triangle, and you pull this down, and it says mobile data is turned off. So you tap it, and you hit turn on. Okay? But then you have to leave this thing from the settings in your recents. So that way, mobile data, you can turn it off. Mobile data will be turned off. You will not be able to do this, this, and that. Blah, 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 blah. Mobile data is turned off. Oh no! Ah! I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but You just gotta leave it in your recents, which is kind of a pain because you might accidentally hit close all, and then to get back to this, you have to go to freaking settings and connections and mobile networks and then mobile data. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like you have to go through 8,000 things to get to where you're wanting to go. What the fuck, Samsung? Oh, this is fucking hilarious. I don't know if you can see it because of the blur, but I got a notification from AT&T saying, looking for a new phone? Skip the line and buy online. Don't you idiots know that I already have a new phone? It's like a week and a half old. Wow, just wow on that. Everything else is pretty much the same. Let's see. It's running Android 9 Pie right out of the box. So that's pretty cool. Winning! And probably the last thing that I don't like about this phone, and it's probably not the phone, it's probably not Samsung, it's probably a fucking TNT, is that an update will come out and it'll tell me up here, I have an update, and you can either install it or delay it. Now, if you connect to Wi-Fi, it'll automatically download. There's no way to turn it off. Forget turning it off. If you have root, you can turn it off, but the AT&T variants haven't achieved root yet, and they probably never will because the bootloader is fucking locked. So if you connect to Wi-Fi, the update automatically downloads, and then you can either say install it or remind me later. You can only tell it remind me later so many times before the freaking notification just where'd it go? Just like sits right here with all the other notifications. And then if you let it idle long enough, it just installs the fucking update by itself, whether or not you want it or not. What the fuck? Now, granted, the last update, which I got yesterday or 2 days ago, it was good. It added the QR scanner thing right here, icon, and it also did something to the camera to where I have night mode now. I haven't really messed with the camera. In fact, I'm probably going to do my next YouTube video with the S10 here. So I'll get to play with the camera. I haven't messed with it really, so I don't know how to do the night mode or anything. I'll have to figure that out later. So in conclusion, the S10 Plus is a great phone. Do I recommend it? No, not really. I recommend just the Galaxy S10 because it's smaller. Now, if you like the bigger screen or have big hands or need better battery life and this extra camera up here, then yes, go with the S10. But S10 Plus. But I really should have just stuck with just the S10. I bought this phone and then I found a really good deal on just a regular S10, brand new in the box, outside of an AT&T contract. So I just decided to jump on it. Now, before any of you think like, oh, Jeff, you got all this money from YouTube. No, YouTube has never paid me 1 cent for my videos. Yes, they're supposedly monetized. They have ads on them, but I have never received a check in my, I've been on YouTube like 9 or 10 years now. Haven't received 1 penny from YouTube. So this phone was bought with my hard-earned cash from my 9-to-5 job. Well, not this phone, the other one that I've got ordered. This one went on my contract. Went on my bill. So my bill's going to be like $8,000 for the next 2.5 years until I pay it off. Winning! Losing! And that's all for this video. Stay tuned for more videos by me. Today's episode was brought to you by this pair of scissors and not by this rubber band.